Welcome to Forward Podcast. I'm Sean Chrysalis, your host, and this is actually a mashup episode. I figure we're into week 10 of 2020. It's a very significant week because statistically and unfortunately, we're well into that period where many people have given up on their New Year's resolutions, their New Year's goals, whatever you want to call them. And I take no pleasure in that, so I thought, how can I help people get back on their track and dig back into those goals? I went back into a few of the episodes, more recent episodes, and I see that many of our coaches shared some valuable tips on what we can do, and they shared their own personal experiences and their conflicts when they hit their walls when they're after their goals. So we're going to share the information from our coaches and some of our past episodes and get you guys fired up again so that we can roll into the spring feeling like we're back on track. So stay tuned. Coming up is Coach Julia Ballett. She was at a prestigious university studying music, and her love for personal training. And she had to make this choice to move from one into the other and struggling with this idea of being late into the game. So here's Julia Ballett talking about her transition from the music industry into fitness. Wow. So how long have you been actually working as a personal trainer?
I want to say I started in 2017.
Okay.
So
quite recently.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I came into the game super late.
Yeah.
Super late. Yeah.
Why do you say late? How old are you?
Well,
Can we ask? Am I allowed to ask you how old you are?
Of course. I was 26.
26 when you started.
I want 26, 27 ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you didn't feel that you weren't torn between having gone to quite a prestigious university studying music and then saying, you know what? The hell with it. I'm going with personal training. Was that a fight you had, an internal battle, or was it quite clear to you?
No, it was not clear. It was very murky. It was tough because I didn't want to feel like I was giving up on my education and like my number one passion in life, which is music. My idea in the beginning was to kind of do fitness during the week, like have clients during the week, and then on the weekend I would have some gigs that kind of like would pull me over to the next week. But it's a lot easier said than done. So that's kind of why after some time, like music kind of fell by the wayside and fitness took over.
Yeah. And you don't feel like that because you chose fitness over music, you don't feel like these were wasted years in university.
No. In university, it was some of like the best years of my life, more for the people that I met. I made a lot of really close friends there, and I learned a lot. But that's why, like, when I say like I kind of came late to the game, like in a sense, I feel like I'm at a bit of a disadvantage just because a lot of the people that I've met in the industry, they're either like, you know, ex-pro athletes or, you know, they've studied fitness like through their university years. And then here I am, I'm like, oh, like I'm just going to see where this takes me, which is fine. But there are times where I'm like, like I wish I had more to back this up. So I feel like I'm able to kind of like.
Julia, is that a thing though for your generation where you guys often feel that it's too late? Like, oh man, look at how well they're all doing. And you know, I'm 29. You're 29 right now, right?
20 next week.
And you're saying, man, I came in late.
Well, there's a lot of pressure because like on the one hand, we're told like, if you want to become like a professional, you have to start young, you know, like these like prodigies in like that play piano or that are.
But who says that, right? Like
people.
And I'm asking because I don't know who says that, but I've heard that myself.
Right.
But who's setting this standard?
Society?
Yeah,
you know, like.
Or ourselves.
I think, I mean, I need to take my own advice here, but I think you kind of have to separate yourself from all of that. I think it's okay to like have goals and to see someone and aspire to be like them. But if you constantly are comparing yourself to everyone else around you, like you're just going to be bringing yourself down. You know, like it's okay if you're doing it in like a healthy way. Like if you see something that makes sense and you're like, yes, this is a goal that I want to achieve. Great. But then there are some things, I guess it's maybe more like in terms of like aesthetic appearances or something, like people promote things online and there's like, it's like these flawless people, and they're like, oh, I have to go buy this cream so I get this perfect skin, or I have to, and it's just like you're comparing yourself to something that is completely not unrealistic, but it's not going to be the same for everyone.
Yeah.
Whether it's a diet, whether it's like a product, whether it's like whatever it may be. So if you're going to set goals, like they have to be realistic goals, and you can't get caught up in like the needing to be perfect all the time mentality.
Thank you, Coach Julia Ballot, for such honesty there. Yeah, we definitely all have doubt, and we also have a lot of potential. And the only way to really unlock that potential is we have to go through the doubt by challenging ourselves and seeing what kind of results we can get. And certainly looking at other people and what they do, I think that's normal. I think fighting that is actually not normal. Just we do need some references, right, when we look at what other people are doing. But we do have to stay true to our own path. There's no doubt. So watch that comparison game. That's something that can really knock us off track. Expecting things to be perfect. That's a trap, right? What is the expression that perfect is the enemy of better? So we just got to look at getting better. It can't always be perfect. Next up, Coach Nathan Zentner. He's a strength conditioning coach, CrossFit athlete, and personal trainer. He hits hard with some talk about, are we ready to give up certain things in order to see our potential and attain our goals? So here we go with Coach Nathan Zentner. It's not going to happen easily for you right now. You're going to have to gut it out working, right, as a personal trainer, doing your thing. Now,
I mean, to be fair, I really do love what I do. So, I enjoy training people and helping them perform to the best of their ability. There's also other Canadian athletes that get it done, right? Like, I mean, there's a sacrifice that I'm not willing to make at the same time, right? I'm not willing to give all that other stuff up. If I want, personally, yeah, because I still enjoy, a little bit of social life. Yeah. I enjoy playing video games sometimes, right? I'll stay up an extra hour when I probably shouldn't, right? Like, okay, so versus, like let's say Pat Vellner or a Brent Fikowski, both Canadian CrossFit athletes, they gave it all up, or almost all, right? And Pat Vellner even got his degree while he was competing at an elite level. So it's a huge dedication, huge. Yeah. Like this morning, I woke up, I got out the door, I had an hour of morning activation, 8 a.m. Like that was the first thing. And this, that's like getting out of bed and it's snowing, right? And then I ate a huge breakfast, all calculated, all measured out, all my macros. And then I, went to the gym again, another 2 hours. And then we're here doing the podcast. I'm going to go swim for another hour after. So like, that has to be your life for, indefinitely until you've made it or you're done competing. Yeah. Like the dream is just to keep that going for as long as possible, even if there's no podium, even if there's not even any competition from there. I mean, long term, I'm 30, 35. I want to have my own box and I want to be able to put everyone through the same hell I go through. And I want them to love it as much as I love it. And I want to keep doing this for as long as I can. Like, I think that should be the reason we all train, to love training and to prolong
to do
life.
Anything that, anything, right? Yeah. To love what you do.
Yeah, anything, right.
And not have to be number one,
yeah,
right? To celebrate that you're better today than you were yesterday. Yeah. Real talk with Nathan right there. Listen, one of the things that I take away from that really resonated with me is that there's so much space between being number one and where we're at right now. The thing is that fully committing right now in whatever we're doing and giving it our best shot, I think that has so much value. So yeah, not getting so caught up in being number one. Sure, we can strive for our best self and strive for number one, but to think that there's no value anywhere before number one, I think that's a bit of a myth, and we got to see the value in what we're doing right here and right now. Depression is one of the leading causes of doctor visits right now. Presently, it's a huge issue, and we have now Natalia Feldman. She's a personal trainer, strength coach, and she's going to share her experience with depression.
In the past, depression and anxiety was something that's very prominent, especially in my youth. So I'm still young, but even before, I was always present, and I never really knew how to gauge it, how to deal with it. It was very difficult. Granted, there were so many resources, and I'd undergone some therapy. Like, it was still something I had to fight myself. So no matter how many therapists I met with, no matter how many journals I filled up with, like, it still didn't seem right. And at 18, it felt ridiculous. And I think that's kind of the shame that comes with it, especially when we talk about mental health, is the shame and the guilt of like, I have a good life. I have a roof over my head. Like, I have a job. I should be really grateful. Why am I not happy? And that stress keeps reoccurring and reoccurring because I don't find as a society collectively, slowly it's getting better, but collectively we don't take mental health to the same catering that we do for physical health. Like if someone tells you they broke their arm, you're not going to tell them, oh, well, just like smile, it'll get better.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when it comes to mental health, it's not met with that same severity. So as a result, the patient or the person who's suffering ends up carrying an extra guilt, and they can't anymore. They're already on their last leg. So,
and I would assume that health, fitness, wellness, that's played a role in helping you out of this condition.
Oh, absolutely. My therapy is honestly exercising and like meditation. Like I've got into yoga about like 3.5 years ago, and I can't say I can imagine my week without it, let alone my life. Like, it's just so essential. And moving, sometimes you just need to move. Sometimes I think a lot of people who suffer from anxiety, we tend to overthink. And so sometimes you just need to let your brain chill. Like, it's already stimulated, it's overstimulated. And that's what causes us to go into this stress mode. And we think we need to do more in that moment. We feel like we're useless or we haven't contributed enough and we need to do more. But in fact, we just need to step back, breathe. Like sometimes the hardest thing is just breathing, like just relaxing. And I see it as also as a trainer, like it's just we're so focused, we have so many ideas, there's so much we want to do, and we don't want to wait for it. You know what I mean? So yoga has helped a lot. In terms of training, diet has helped significantly. Fitness and health and wellness has kind of saved my life in that regard, where whenever I'm feeling low, I know what to do to at least somewhat ease the anxiety. May not solve it right away, and I should never think that way. I don't think anyone should. If they're suffering with that, you're never going to solve it. It's something you're going to have to deal with. But if you can find the tools and the people that you can lean on in these moments, you're honestly set and you're going to keep going forward. So I honestly have fitness to thank for that.
Yeah, if there's anything that can knock us off our game, it would be depression. And as Natalia points out, there's really no single thing that's going to fix it. Our nutrition, exercise, and rest and meditation and relaxation will all be part of it. And yeah, sometimes medication. So if you suffer with depression, get that checked, go see your doctor, and let's do that responsibly. And try and get rid of some of that guilt, as she points out. The last thing you need when you're feeling so wiped out is guilt around why you're feeling down. Yeah, we can count our blessings. We can have a home and a good family. It doesn't mean you can't get depressed. So yeah, go see your doctor. Let's get that fixed, guys, because that will keep you off track of your goals. If you're starting that side gig, right, and you're just getting down, it's not going the way you want it to, Fork Podcast is full of entrepreneurs who talk about the startup of their business and the time that it took to get it going. And right now, we're going to share Coach Dean Hollingworth, strength conditioning coach, and he's going to take us back to the beginnings of his personal training business.
And I was always told when I was training with friends or family, and they said, there's something about working out with you that's really interesting. Like, you make it fun, the intensity you bring to it. It just seemed like a natural step for me. So I started working at the gym. I worked there. I was still going to school. I was doing a specialization in psychology. I was writing an undergrad thesis. And someone had asked me, like, look, I have too many in-home clients. Would you like to have one or two of them? And I thought, okay, I'd like to try that. And it worked out really well. And it was just a perfect ending to my school, because I had just graduated from university. I wanted to do a master's, but now I had this whole personal training business around me where I was busy. I had a full-time job. It obviously didn't happen overnight. And I think there's a general rule in business that, if you start a new company, it takes about 3 years for it to truly get off the ground. I mean, I've heard that before.
That's right. If you're at school or full-time job, just get started with that thing you love. Just a few hours a week, invest it into it, find out if you really love it and if you're willing to go through what it takes. And yeah, that's the way to do it, man. You don't have to jump all in. You don't have to leave everything behind and give everything you got to this one new thing. Go slow. There's a lot of merit in that. And so I'm happy you guys joined me here today on Fork Podcast. And listen, get out there. Let's get back on track with our goals in the new year. You'll just never know if you can succeed at it if you don't try. So a little patience with commitment. Don't forget, patience with commitment. That's the way to go. And you'll never know what potential sits inside of you until you get out there and challenge yourself. You guys have an awesome day.